Okay. So we were actually discussing about various types of testing. So we'll continue with that. Half of the class we'll finish this by today, and we'll move to how to open bugs, or how to actually find defects, okay, in an application. Okay, so we stopped at 6th slide, right? Let's go to the 7th slide. Okay, so acceptance testing. So what is the acceptance testing? So it's a generic term. So there is also called as UAT, user acceptance testing. So that is more specific to the user. Okay, so here is acceptance testing is it's a general term. Like, is it so what is this acceptance testing? Is like you'll be having a different team. Okay, that team will be working on is this whether whether this kind of is acceptable, this application is acceptable or not. Okay, so what happens in this, right? So customer specified requirements. So here what they test is like customer specified requirements. So what happens sometimes, customer requests some feature, or customer sometimes requests some new functionality. They say, okay, so this is they want some new specific. Let's take an example here. Okay, so let's say if in Amazon.com, like somebody is browsing Amazon.com, let's say they find something, let's say they want to put this card button. Okay, why don't you put this card button at this here at the right side, not at bottom of the page, because we want to we are a general customer and we want to browse. So that what happens, right? So that's a new feature. Now that new feature, they have to put it into, it has to go to the development, developer has to add that feature, all those things happen again, that goes to the normal flow. Okay, so that's functional testing and all those things happen. Here what is, again they will check in UAT that user specified customer is user specified requirements is tested as per the requirement or not. Okay, so this is done by the different team, UAT team, user acceptance testing. Okay, this can be a similar to functional team, but this is not being done by the functional team, because this is a separate feature or separate feature requested by customer, or this is no way related to functional testing guys. Of course, they will be doing that functional testing part, but not the UAT part, because UAT part is like they will have a different requirements, although they will be having requirements, similar requirements, all BRD, all those, but the way they test is different. Okay, so they don't test what normal way like we test. They do it in a different way, the completely different way. So that's why it's called UAT. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Okay, load testing. Okay, before going to load testing, right, we'll go to performance testing. So this performance testing, before going to performance testing too, right, I'll give you some brief introduction, like why do we need this performance testing. Okay, so this is classified into two types. Performance testing is classified into two types, that is load testing and stress testing. Okay, what is performance testing? Performance testing is classified into two types, that is load testing and stress testing. Okay, so why do we, so before all this, right, so let's quickly have some introduction on this. Why do we actually require this? So we have been doing a lot of different kind of testing. Why do we need this too? Okay, so we know why do we need functional testing. Okay, we know why do we need integration testing, all those things. Let's have some idea.
Hi, Manu.
Hey.
Hi, your voice is up and down, so it's really hard to understand.
Okay, sure. So let me be more louder. So I'll be talking louder. Is it audible now?
It is, but it's kind of going up and down. Like suddenly it goes up and suddenly it goes down. So
Yeah, I know that. I mean, that's it's kind of issue from actually Zoom. Actually, they have some very different kind of application they are using. So yeah, the only way right now is I can speak louder. That's how you can do that. Okay.
right.
So okay, so let's take an example. Okay, why do we need this performance testing altogether? Why do we need this load testing and stress testing? Okay, let's say let's go to here. Let's say Amazon.com. Okay, so whenever I'm user, let's say I'm a user and I'm a user of Amazon and I want to access. So I see I'm not even I'm not even bothering to click the URLs, click the links. No, I'm just trying to put this URL into here into my browser and clicking and just hitting enter. That's it. Okay, that's all I'm doing, right? And I'm a customer of I buy almost every month. So what happens, right? Let's say one customer is fine. Now let's say there are like 1,000 people. Let's say you have this server, and whatever the Amazon maintains this website in one server. Okay, and the server is capable of handling only 50 users. Only 50 users, and it cannot go beyond that. Okay, and as a customer, I'm just using this URL, right? I mean this URL and putting here and and doing enter, and let's say there are hundreds of people. Like Amazon.com is all over the world, not just US, right? People from Europe, people from lot of all over the globe. People buy from Amazon.com. So a lot of people use this URL. Let's say there are people, like let's say 1,000 people. There Amazon has only one server, okay? One server that is capable of handling only 50 users, right? Okay. Now let's say 1,000 people. 1,000 people logging into this Amazon.com at the same time, at the same point of time. Okay. So can anyone tell me like what happens when let's not even worry about 1,000, let's worry about 100. 100 people are not even just logging in, just using this URL, putting in address bar and hitting enter, that's it. And 100 people are doing that at the same amount of time, all over the place. And Amazon only has one server. Can anyone tell what happens? So they have only one server, right, which is capable of handling only 50 users, right? And 100 people are using this URL at the same time. Okay, so what happens, right? Okay, the first thing is the application becomes slow. Okay, it doesn't. The application doesn't show up as quickly because 100 people are logging in. The second thing, the worst thing can happen is the server gets blown up, because whenever you're trying to access that, it takes some amount of resources. Not some, when your people are 100 people are logging, there's a lot of resources. It takes some amount of memory from the server, some amount of space. The processor has to run that fast. A lot of things are happening in the back end. We don't know. Okay, we are just using this. But at the server side, whenever you access this, okay, lot of things happen. Okay, a lot of resources are consumed at the back end. Okay, so the server, at the worst case, the server gets blown up because the processor cannot function that fast, and it cannot process 100 people or 1,000 people at once. Okay, its capability is only 50 users, so it can only process 50 users. Okay, so it has gone beyond its limit. So the processor may get blown. So that's a worst scenario that can happen. Okay, so let's say now you have two servers. Okay, you have two servers, and now whenever users try to use this, okay, whenever the user, let's say again 100 people are logging in, 100 people are using this URL at once, and now you have two servers. Now there is something called load balancer, right? Once it reaches 50 users, let's say that server has used 50 users, what that load balancer does is it takes remaining 50 and puts into another server. So that helps to balance the load. So now you can have that same application, same speed. Now, just like you have the instant speed you have whenever you click on this, immediately shows up. You can have that same thing after using that. Okay, so that's called load balancing. Okay, you're balancing the load if there is a lot of people. So that's the reason, right? Google had like almost 1 million servers all over the world. Now that was old, 2000. That was around 2012 or 2013. They had almost 1 million servers all over the world. So that's how they maintain. Okay, because your application should not go, should not slow down because of any other issue. Okay, so let's go back to our topic here, load testing. So here what you do, right? You want to test an application under heavy load. So under heavy loads in sense, a lot of people are logging in, a lot of people are using this. Okay, so that's called heavy loads. Okay, that can be not just 100 users, 200 users, can be 1,000 users, 2,000 users, and so on. Okay, so here we cannot generate users, right? So we use a tool called load runner. So there is a load runner that generates that amount of load. Let's say if 2,000 users are logging in, okay, so that's called virtual users. So nobody is going manually and logging it. You're using a tool that helps to generate that amount of load which a physical user does that. Okay, so that's how load testing can be done. Okay, so you want to test an application under heavy loads. That's called load testing. Okay, so under heavy loads, how the application is responding. So how the application is, is it slow? How much time it is taking to navigate from one page to next page? Okay, so all those things. What is the transaction time? So how much time, it is taking, how many milliseconds it is taking, how many microseconds. So all this is actually, is plotted in a graph, and then it is taken into review, and then it has been, it will be checked. Okay, so what it has to be done, with the application. So how we want to improve it, how we want to, so if it is an issue, if it is a defect, then we need to open a defect. So load testing defects are completely different. So that's, not really similar, and the requirements too are different. So we just have knowledge on this. Okay, so because this is a completely different topic altogether. Okay, so load testing, it's testing done under heavy loads, heavy load on a web application. So what are the loads? It's a virtual users, like, you use a load runner tool or some other tool. It don't have to be a load runner, it can be a load UI, and one more tool. Okay, load runner is from HP. So, so using that tool, you can start testing, you can start load testing. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Stress testing. So in the stress testing, so here, here what we do is, like, we will be testing beyond the heavy loads, like, putting large number of complex database queries. Okay, let's see here. So here, whatever, say I'm a user, right? So here they are saying, like, complex database queries. I'm a front-end user. I am not, as a customer, I am not sure what they're talking about. They're complex database query. But let me, give you some information here. So whenever you're trying to access something, let's say you're, navigating you're holding your mouse here and navigating some information here. Okay. Let's say, I'm going to here and, I'm clicking here. So whenever I'm clicking this, so this is actually querying the database. So that's called query. So this is, nobody is doing here manually. This is happening automatically at the backend process at the Amazon server, right? So that's why the URL got changed. See this? The complete URL is different here. And whenever you click that, that means that is the query is generated by the server, and that query is clicked on the database, and that information is retrieved and put into this in our page. Okay, so because whatever the information, whatever screenshot, whatever the web page or whatever, it is stored in where database. Of course, everything is stored in the database, right? Whatever web page information, whatever you're browsing online, your address information, everything is stored in database. So whatever information you see in the web page is actually queried from the database itself. So that's why here you are actually querying a database, but you never knew that you were querying a database because you were just clicking some button. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so you never knew that you were actually querying a database. You were actually just clicking a button, but by just clicking that button, you actually generated a SQL query which was there in the server. The server actually generated that query based on your option. Okay, it generated that query. I executed that query automatically to the database and retrieved that whatever the information that was there in the database and shown at your web page. So that's how. That's what it means by complex database queries. Okay, so this happens production. Okay, so this happens in the production. That is what we are, what we are doing here. This is a production, but at testing environments, little bit different. You actually do it manually, actually. Okay, so you are not. Okay, you will be doing it as a front end. Okay, that's a different story, but it's a little bit different when you're doing a testing. Complex database queries when you're trying to do it in testing. And so that's what it means. Testing means a lot of people are just clicking these buttons and clicking this and clicking that, and 1,000 people are doing that. So that generates a lot of stress, right? Because the process has to run fast. It takes a lot of memory, again. So all this, graphs is loaded, a lot of using that load runner that generates a lot of, graphs. The throughput, Unix. I'm sorry. There are a lot of graphs actually. Okay, so based on that, you can determine what kind of performance testing you have done. You have done load testing and plus stress testing. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Finish it real quick. So usability testing. Okay, so usability testing is user friendliness check. Okay, simple statement is user friendliness check. Okay, so what we do here is like application flow is tested, and okay, user can user understand application easily. Okay, good. So let me give an example for here. Okay, so let's go back to Amazon. Back here. Okay, so here I want to do usability testing. What is it? User friendliness check. Okay, so let's take here. Okay, I'm a regular customer. Okay, I'm a regular customer. Now I always buy from here. Let's say I have good products and I need to buy. And as a customer, I want to sign in, right? I want to sign in, and the sign in button should be there right in front of my face, right? And that's really located here. It's good. It's good. But let's say if the sign in button is not here and located in some footer of this page, let's say some place here which user don't even know exist in such a insignificant position. And you want to say, so that's not an user friendly, because I want to buy thing, but I want to buy stuff, but I cannot sign in because I cannot find the signing button. Where is signing button? If it is located here, how would I know it is there, right? It should be right in front of my face. So that's how it is designed, right? So that is called user friendliness. How user friendly is this application? Okay, so all these things should be there, right? Because again, if it is not user friendly, then customers say, no, I'll not buy from you. This is not user friendly. I'll buy from someone else, right? So that will lose business. Okay, so that's the reason you have this user friendliness check. Okay, that's called usability testing. Okay, that means if a new user, let's say I'm a new user and I need to sign in, so that's why the signing button is here. Okay, so new user should understand, okay, oh, okay, so I'm here, I can sign in here. Okay, so he or she should understand this, very quickly. Should not take much time, and it should not take a lot of time to understand, okay, where is this button, where is this web page, I cannot find anywhere. It should not be there, because they will lose business. At the end of the day, it's the company who loses business if it's not user friendly. Okay, so let's move to the next one. So install and uninstall testing. So again, this is based on client applications, because whenever you install an application, it installs in your system. And once it installs, you want to, because see, whenever you install an application, right, a lot of things happen. The registry keys gets updated, DLL files gets added, new DLL files, all those things. So all those things happen. So you want to test all those things. So that's called install. And once you uninstall, you want to make sure all the files are moved, all the registry keys are again updated, all those things. So you want to do that. So that's called install and uninstall testing. Okay. So let's move to the next one. Okay, the recovery testing. So in this recovery testing, so you want to see the system, how soon it recovers from the crashes. Okay, so here you're not really manually working on this, but it's like how soon it recovers from the crashes. Let's say there is a server issue. Let's say there is a server issue, and let's say that server issue is fixed. Okay, how soon it gets shown up into the web page. Okay, so that's called recovery testing. Okay, so you want to test it, how soon it recovers from the crashes or some pop-up window. Let's say it's showing some pop-up window, or some application is not moving, or that's something is called recovery testing. How soon it gets recovered, okay, from crashes or hardware failures or so on. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Security testing. Okay, so in this, you want to see like how can a system be penetrated in hacking way. Okay, so let's take an example here. Okay, in security testing, how soon can a system be penetrated by a hacking way? So let's say here, just google.com. See, even if I am using this google.com, right? So there is something called HTTPS. Okay, so this is, so it was actually HTTP. HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, S means secure. Okay, secure. That means HTTPS instance, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, secure. Okay, so normally in previous it was HTTP. Now these guys have moved all into HTTPS. Why do we need this? So let's say if you are using HTTP, that means it's not secure. That means anyone can hack your information. So what you're doing online, let's say you're using some transaction online, you're using some credit card, and somebody can hack it. So you never use HTTP for credit card transactions, right? You have address, you have credit card information, you don't do this. So you always make sure that HTTPS, okay, HTTP is there, right? So that is called security. Okay, so it should be secure. because what it happens, so what actually happens at the back end, right? There's an algorithm which generates, whatever you're trying to do is encrypted at this client place, and it only can be decrypted at the server, at the whatever transaction you are making, it can only be. So that's how, so if anyone is trying to hack, even if they get the information, it is pretty much useless for them because they cannot decrypt the information. Okay, so that's how security testing. So that's called security testing. So that's an example. There are so many ways to do the security testing. I just gave you an example of HTTPS. You don't have to be always HTTPS. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Compatibility testing. Okay, so you want to test, how the software is compatible. Okay, is it compatible with the hardware? Is it compatible with the software, with the different operating system? Is it compatible with Windows? Is it compatible with the Mac? Is it compatible with the Linux and so on? Okay, so all that is called compatibility testing. And we have comparison testing. You can compare with the two products. Okay. So you want to compare the two products, what are the strengths and what are its weakness. Okay, so normally with previous versions, okay, so you can, so that's called comparison testing. So you also have, I guess you have sanity testing for that, right? Let's see. So if you have two items, you can you call it as sanity. So it's normally two it's normally two products actually. Two products, you want to compare their strength and weakness. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Alpha testing. So in alpha testing, what you do is, so let's say, here, once the development is done, so let's say development is done, right? And you want to do this testing. So this testing is, okay, in some companies, these are done by the developers. Okay, let's leave it that way. Okay, once the development is done, they go for the alpha testing. So that developers will actually be working on that and start testing it. It's their own way. Okay, so it's their own way. They do testing and they have to do that code testing or unit testing or whatever they want to do it from scratch. Or, so that's called alpha testing. Or in-house virtual environment can be created for this testing. That means anyone in the project, responsible team member, who can be business analyst, can be architect guy, can be developer, can be tester, okay, can be project manager. Because sometimes business analysts guys also will be doing testing. So that's called alpha testing. Okay. So once the end of the development, once it's the end of the development, and it's goes before the build is installed, before the build is deployed into the test environment, you do this alpha testing. Okay. Let's go to the next topic. Next, you have beta testing. So what happens in the beta testing, right? So let's say all testings are done. Okay, everything is done and it is released. Okay, so demo. I mean, this is a demo. The company has released the demo to the end users, the whole world, and they tell the customers to, okay, you can use this product, okay, and if you find any issues, you can report this issue. That's called beta testing. That means this is done by the consumers, because once this testing is done, then once all the bugs are fixed and again they fix all these issues, and then they release the new product, which will be the complete version, not just demo, but after paying the so they will be releasing the complete version. So that's called beta testing. Okay, so this is beta testing is completely end testing. That's all of the testing is done, and this is released into the market and released to the whole world and whoever responsible people or whoever is people will be end users. Normally the end users will be testing this and reporting the issue to the people. Okay, so that's called beta testing. Okay, so any questions so far? So that's the end of this, our theoretical, all the types of testing. So this was just various types of testing. So here, when you work in a project, you might be just working only and mostly in functional testing, but these are also important because sometimes they do various types of testing one after the other. So you might be involved in in all of the testing, a few of the testing. Okay, but definitely not everything what is shown in the slide, but it's good to know, because if somebody asks you, you should be capable of answering that question, right? So that's why there's a various different types of testing. Any questions so far? Okay, so yeah, I mean, see, I'll be giving you good, the good video. Okay, I mean good audio. So you can refer that to. Okay, that should be good, because I know the sound is like ups and downs, so you may not be uh, hearing properly. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can reach me. Okay, so it's my my email ID. It's manu@itamica.com. You can just email me. Okay, so so let's go to the next topic. Okay, so now, okay, you went to the project. Okay, now you went to the project. The first day was good. They gave you documents, and you went on reading the documents, like requirement document or functional requirement document, all those things. You started reading it. Now your leads told you to, okay, why don't you start testing on the application? Now you don't know what's application. Okay, you don't know, so now you cannot directly ask him, okay, where is the application? Okay, no, it's not a very good answer, very good question to ask at that point of time, right? So no, why don't you start testing? Okay, so your lead comes to you and so why don't you start testing on one of our application? Okay, so now somehow you figure it out. You went to the SharePoint, you talk to your colleagues, okay, and figure it out, this URL, and somehow you found out this is the web page that you need to test, not just web page, whole application. You confirm with your lead, so and say that, okay, so is this what you meant, that I need to test this? And he said, yeah, right, this is the application, this is going, and so you're good. You confirm with the lead, and somehow you're good. Now you're not going to ask your lead, so what I need to test. Okay, so that's not a good question. Okay, what you need to test is not his job to answer, because it's your job. That's why they hired you, right? Now you cannot ask what I need to test. Okay, but you need to make sure what kind of testings we are performing. Okay, so are we going to do functional testing? Are we going to do all of the testing? Is there any regression team there? Or is there the performance team we're working on? So you want to make sure all those things are there. It's good. It's good. Okay. Now, once you find out, now you need to start testing. Okay. Let me go real quick here. I click this button. Okay. There's 3 buttons. I need to test everything, right? and I'll just click OK. Now I figured out that okay, this is a retail company. Good, good. Okay, now let's. No, I want to order something. Let's try this. 100. Good. So I want to order something and see how this application looks like, and how am I going to test it. So remember, we are testing here. Okay, so we are testing. You got an application and you're really running into the application and you're trying to test it, right? Let's say all the test cases are ready, and we'll worry about that later. But here we want to see this how the application is. Okay, and click on place an order. Okay, good. So that's good. No, nobody bothered this before, and we're good. Click on this button. I fill up this. Okay, it's asking my credit card number. Okay, good. Let's create a credit card number. And somehow you also got information on this. And that's 17. And put a click as same as bill do. Okay, just click as same bill do. So the billing address is same as shipping address. So right? I mean, billing address is different, shipping address is different. Shipping address, if you want to ship it some other place, and billing address is actually the credit card, credit card bill, which actually gets, the bill, which address it has to go to. Okay, so that this has to match with your, credit card provider, because it doesn't match, it gets rejected. So I hope you guys know that. Okay, so once it all is good, and I click this place an order. Okay, good. So I just placed an order. Okay, I just placed an order, but I didn't find any defects, right? Really, did I find? Well, I didn't notice that. Okay, so we really didn't. We just went only one flow. Okay, so we really didn't found any defects, because we really didn't concentrate on what to do rather than just placing an order, right? So we really didn't concentrate on how to pick up the issues. So everything was good. So you thought this application is good. Now you might tell, okay, application is good, but you don't want to do that, because we really didn't tested anything. Right now we just went to the one passive flow, that's it. And that doesn't mean that testing is complete. We need to do each and every field validations here. Okay, let's be in detail here. Okay, let's say I'm only trying to see one flow, that's this button. Okay, let me show you something here. Okay, let me show you something. Let me order in large quantities. Okay, so let me order in large quantities. Now again, remember, we are still testing here, so we are not this whole web page, we are testing here. Okay, and click on place an order. Now when I do this, can anyone figure it out what's actually the issue here? So there is an issue here. So can anyone figure it out what actually the issue is? I'm trying to place an order here, and there is an issue.
There's no quantity number.
Quantity number. So this is the quantity, right? I'm using like only
Yeah, sorry.
3, 4, 5. That's like I'm using too many quantities. So it's kind of. So this is the quantity. And unit price is $2.99. That gets billed for. Okay. So that this is multiplied with this quantity. So anyone else? We have to pick out the issues, and there's the issues every page. Okay, so let me tell you. Do you see the shipping and handling? $5.
Yes.
So do you think, okay, let's say even USPS, if you are ordering these many large quantities, do you think USPS just charges $5 for these many quantities? Yes or
It
no?
might be.
So,
If USPS is so kind with that company, yeah, they can.
no.
I'm
Okay,
just
okay.
assuming.
Yeah, that's a different story that, company will offer it for free because you're ordering for large quantities. That's a different story. In that case, they'll just put us free here because not even, no, we are not even bothered about $5 because why do I charge when I'm trying to order this much business for a company? They are supposed to, do it for free because non-quantities, look at the quantity, right? So 73 million, so it's a lot of money, right?
Yes.
So this is the issue. So you are not supposed to, okay, when you're trying to order these many large quantities, shipping and handling fee is showing just $5. That's an issue, right? So that's an issue. So of course, this is first place. It will not be shipped from USPS. Either it will be shipped from any UPS or FedEx or some private companies, but they will not ship from USPS for sure. Okay, even if they ship it, okay, it will not be just $5 for these many quantities. Okay, because okay, so look at this. Let me show you how does a 3% dome. So this is how big it looks like. So even if you pack, this will be at the size of this. So if you're ordering these many quantities, so of course it will not be $5. Right? Does it make sense?
Yes, but how do we know that like shipping and handling costs is that kind of amount? They have to be like. How do we get that information from?
So yeah, simply we cannot know. So we cannot know what should be here. The information should be what amount should be here because okay. It has to get calculated, okay, so how much quantities and it has to be put here. But in that case, when you're trying to order these many quantities, of course it should be free. Normally it should be free. You don't charge anyone when you're trying to order large quantities. You remember almost every company, right? I think almost every company in the United States, if you order some amount like okay, maybe not almost, okay. Most of the companies like Amazon or Walmart, if you order some amount like $100, $200, above that it's free, right? Okay, not most of them, okay, because there are companies which offer, okay, don't offer free shipping. That's fine. So, but when they don't offer, the amount is not so low when you are ordering such large quantities. Okay, let's not worry about this. Okay, so let's not worry. This is an issue. Okay, let's be on your side. That's not an issue. Okay, so let me give you one more example. Okay, so let me click this. Okay, let me click this. And 3% don't tend. And in stock, what is 23? Right? Remember this 23. Okay, that means the customer, whenever customer orders, it has to ship only 23 because they don't have any more stock. They are only 23. Okay, good. Now, what I'm trying to do is ordering 100. Right? I'm clicking on this. Okay, 100 and total price is okay, good. That's fine. And I'm proceeding with order. And I'm just putting my okay, and placing the order. So now the customer placed an order for 100. Remember, order quantity 100, but what is actually in stock 23. Now the customer gets only 23, but he got billed for for 100 products. Now customer gets frustrated, right? He never gets that remaining amount. That's a bug. Don't you think that's a bug? Because whenever you put this 100 and put enter, there should be some pop-up button saying that okay, the quantity is not available. You cannot place more than 23, but it's still allowing. Okay, it's still allowing you to enter the value more than 23. So that's a bug. Any questions, any arguments on that? Do you consider that bug? No?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, because if you have in stock 23, okay, company cannot provide more than 23. That's a backlog item, so they have to order somewhere, or they have to make it somewhere, or do whatever they want and put that here. But inputting 100, it's going through, so that's a bug. Okay, good. So that's one. Let me give few more. Okay, so later I'll give you some homework. So I'll show you like how to open bugs. Okay. So
I have a question for you. Like, if let's go to like previous example of that shipping handling cost. Is that we consider as a bug?
yes, because the reason why you want to consider this bug, because it's still showing up, right? I mean, it's not supposed to show, even if it. Okay, I understand these are not valid numbers because these are no more in these quantities, and but by mistake, if any customer has placed, you should not be charged with $5, either free or whatever, they have to remove this or whatever it has to be done. But okay, so
okay, it depends on condition though, isn't it? If the company really want to just charge them $5, then it's not a bug, isn't it?
right, that's a good point. So normally how you actually say, okay, that's a good point. So here we don't have this requirement document. So always you need to check with the requirement document, or if you don't have the requirement, so they have the screenshot. Okay, so what does the shipping and handling shows? You can compare with that, and you can see, is it really showing up what it's supposed to show here?
Right. So it basically it's depend on the requirement of the.
Exactly. So if you don't have requirement, make sure approach with business analyst, because this answer should be given by the business analyst, because he or she is the responsible guy to answer why it's showing up and why not.
All right. I have one more question. It might be sounds weird. Like as a tester, we have to have. I mean, we have to look for those amount as well, or we just need to. I mean, like a total amount, like calculation, everything we have to handle as a tester.
Right. So normally as a tester, you go basically on from the test cases. So whatever test cases you're doing, right, you need to follow that. Okay. So whatever the test cases you're writing, you need to follow on that. But here, okay. So here, why I'm showing this numbers, right? You don't have to stick only with the numbers. Okay. You can follow your own style. Okay, you can put just not 1,000. You can just put one number. Since the order quantity is always in numbers, you should enter in any number. Okay. Okay. So here, okay, let's move to the next one. So here, okay. So I forgot to tell you one thing. Whenever you start testing, you need to have three scenarios. Three scenarios whenever you're testing. In this web application. What is that? Positive scenario, negative scenario, and boundary values. So, what we tested right now was actually positive scenario. Okay, we found a bug in a positive scenario. Okay, how I'm saying that is a positive, because let's say order quantity. Order quantity is always in numbers. So we have entered numbers, not in negative values or integers. Okay, we didn't enter integers yet. So that's called negative. So other than what is quantity is Remember, quantity is numbers, right? So we put just numbers. So that was positive scenario, positive testing. Okay. Now let's go to the negative scenario. That will be negative. That means negative one or other than numbers. So either it will be number, minus one digit or a, okay. So let's put in some character. So order quantity a. So order quantity cannot be a, right? Okay, good. This is giving error. Okay, so this has some issues. Okay, so that's giving bug. Pop-up window. That's good, but okay. So when I click this, it's going through, right? So order quantity A and okay, $299, $0. So shipping handling fine, grand total $5. And I'm going to proceed with order. So why I'm paying $5 for which I'm not getting shipped anything? Quantity A that doesn't make sense. So this is a bug, right? So this is the negative scenario testing. Okay, so negative testing. That means other than quantity, you're putting some junk value that's other than numbers. Okay, so that is a second type of way you can take out the bugs in an application. Okay, so another the third type is for this actually specifically is the boundary values. Okay, the boundary values. Let's say if you're ordering one, you want to put 1.001. So that's not really value, right? It is, and fine with this. It's overriding that, and it's still going to it's charging me for quantity 1.0001. So that's still a bug. Okay, so here we have tested three kinds of scenarios here: positive scenario, negative scenario, boundary values. Right? So any questions so far? Okay, so so you will not be just testing only in Chrome. Just because I'm showing in Chrome doesn't mean that you will be only testing in Chrome. You'll be testing most of all of the browsers. In IE, Firefox, Safari. With Safari, then of course we'll be having the Mac machine, and in that you'll be testing and okay, Firefox, Chrome, IE. Sometimes you have these versions to IE10, IE11, you'll be testing because some people are using IE10, IE11. And if there is a Microsoft Edge, of course, you'll be also testing them. So all these browsers you need to test, not just one browser. I'm showing here one browser, but that doesn't mean you'll be only testing one browser. Okay, you want to also test this how this application works here too. So this is good. Now, you just gave one error, but again it's came back to again if I'm clicking that button, it's going to display. So this is a bug. Okay, it's happening in Firefox. It happening in Chrome. It might also be happening in the IE. Okay, it might also happening in the Safari. So all these browsers you need to test. Okay, so that is three types. And let me give you. Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. That means we have to check this in every browser.
I really cannot hear you properly. Looks like
Yes, ma'am. I mean, remember we have to test it, then we have to check this in every browser.
right. So yes. So no, it's actually really based on requirements. So whenever you test an application, of course, it has to be tested in all browsers because this will be going to production, right? Once it goes into production, it has to be tested in all browsers because there are a lot of people who will be using these browsers. Okay, but to answer your question precisely, you need to check with your lead, right? Because the lead who is, because he's a senior guy, he knows what the company is doing, what's happening, and all those things. So we need to check some senior guy or the lead saying that, hey, are we going to test all the browsers? Do we have all the browsers? And we need the, I need to get access if it is all the browsers because I have not all the browsers installed in my system. Okay, all those things, right? So, but technically, yes, you need to, you need to test in all the browsers because there are a lot of people who will be using, right? There are people who will be using in Chrome. Some people might be using in, Safari. Of course, a lot of people are having Mac, so they'll be using in Safari. So that's the reason it has to be tested in all of the browsers. Okay. And see quickly for this. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay. So I'll be giving you homework today. So make sure you guys, take some bugs. Okay. At least I need at least, one bug from each person. Okay. And it should not be, it should be unique. Okay. Everyone has to be their unique work. And okay, so since we don't have the requirements for, for this, this is the, it is in the right side, it is should be in left side. So I don't want such kind of things, okay, because this is really, we don't have requirements for this, and really I'm not bothered about which, side this image has to belong. It is right side, it should be in between, it should be in the left. So really, I don't care such kind of things, but really things which really have, can use your common sense, right? I mean, you can, similar like what I shown you, it's like common sense. Like let's say if I'm using -1, of course, -1 is not something which everyone orders, right? It's not really valid, valid number. So that's why it's going in error. Good, and but still it's going and I'm able to place this order. Right? So that's the, so that kind of issues. Okay. So you need to, you have this all the web page and there's plenty of issues, trust me. Okay. You can go through each. Okay. So I've already given the examples. Don't come up with the examples because, all this I've already given. Insta will say, so it is not supposed to accept more than 8. Okay. And it's 59 and it is not supposed to accept more than 59, but it's still accepting. That was an example I've given. There are a lot of more, plenty of defects here. Okay. This one you have okay, and this button, you can check this button too, and also this button too. Okay, you have a lot of issues. Okay, all over the place. Okay, just make sure you find issues. Okay, and not just 3 buttons on one browser. You are limited. You also can use Chrome browser, use IE, use Microsoft Edge, use Firefox. If you have Mac, use Safari. That's good. Okay, not just that. Again, I'm not just telling you to use only this field. You also have this field to try this. You might still find some issues here too. Okay, So just don't stick to one thing. There's a lot of things to be verified, a lot of things to validate. So so I know, I'm sure there will be a lot of things, and you guys can come up. Okay, so that's not just you need to find just one issue. It will not that just take more than an hour. I think like let's take 2 hours. Okay, not even 2 hours. Okay, just 2 hours, and lot of things to try. If you don't find in one browser, don't find in try it in another. If you don't find that, try it in another. Okay, so you'd be and there's a lot of fields here. Okay, what field has to accept? What does this field means? What does state means? Or the city means? Okay, what does the email field means? Okay, so there are a lot of things to validate. So just one bug, and I'll send you an instructions in email. Okay, just follow that, and and just and everyone has to be unique. Okay, so don't copy anyone's work. Okay, just be be on yourself. Okay, you can find it because it's you have a lot of things to do. Okay, and it should not be that hard. Okay, and make sure you don't do what I've said. Okay, what I've told you in the class, right? Don't repeat that one. Okay, because I've already told you 3. Okay, so you need to find only one which is not from my class. That's what I mean. Okay, so whatever okay, I told you in the class that is in stock is there. Don't come up with the in stock issue. Don't come up with the shipping issue. Don't come up with the negative value. What I told you, right? Other than that, you're free to explore this website. Okay, you're free to go through this. Any questions?
The homework will be due tomorrow in
Yeah.
the class.
Yeah, tomorrow. So I'll send you an email actually by today I'll send you an email.
We have to send through emails, ma'am. Homework.
I'm sorry, somebody was saying something.
Yeah, after doing homework, then we have to send through email, or we have to tell you to the online.
Yeah, you just send it through email this time. Only just send it through email. Okay. So, okay. Any more questions? Okay. So if no one have any questions, can we close this class for today?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you.